Okay, friends, I think everybody is set right now. What we are going to talk today on this 10th of April 2022, we are going to talk about Knobology in 45th Comprehensive Course on Echocardiography. We have this inbuilt software with us, with which we'll be able to show both the machines. On the other hand, we'll be able to show each and every knob which is present on these machines. Majority of machines, they have the same knob. Though the nomenclature is little variable, which you can often see over there. Like, look, this is a screen which I'm projecting you on the left hand side of your monitor. So I don't have to project on this machine monitor. And on this machine monitor, below than that, there is a touch screen, which I'm not going to use a touch screen at all. But I'm going to tell you about various points on these machines. First point, you can see it very clearly. Here is 2 dimensions echocardiography. You can see this 2 dimensions echocardiography over here. 2D. Next to 2D, there is MM. That MM is M mode. Then is color Doppler or color. Next to color is CW. You can see the key of a CW out here. All these machines of 2D, M mode, color, CW and PW, these are the major things which we require in day-to-day practice. On top of this, this is TVI or tissue velocity imaging. Whenever we need a TVI, I'm going to go to my screen now. If I switch on my TVI, look, this is what the image I'm going to get on my TVI. Then comes to 2D imaging. Then comes an M mode. Look, this is an M mode imaging which comes automatically in the system. I've pressed M mode and now comes colors. Now you can see the colors over here. I'll have to increase the gains or effective mode of a color. And now you see this is all the box of a color. So what we recommended all of you, there's a key over here. We press this key and adjust the box of a color from top to bottom and make it as small as possible. Why do we do it? The reason for doing all this thing is there is a word which is written over here is frequency per second. If you increase this box, look, I'm increasing this box now. Look at the frequency per second is decreasing 20. So we have to keep a frequency as high as possible, which I'm going to keep 30 to 35 in between. If I reduce this box in a horizontal fashion, look, if I'm reducing in horizontal fashion, which many of you always do, look, the frequency does change from 35 to 45. So you can keep this box like this, or you can keep as small as possible, but it should interrogate all the colors. That's first and foremost thing of this machine is. Then if you go back to the system again, there's a word which is written cursor over here. What do you mean by cursor? Cursor is, if I press my button cursor, the line drops in the center of the screen. Look, there's a line in the center of the screen over here. There's a line which drops in the center of the screen. This is a line which helps you in interrogating some subject. And in this line, there's a word like this is a sample volume. This is a site of a sample volume which we use in this machine by trackball. I can move this sample size to anywhere I feel like on the screen. Right? Can you see this sample volume is moving on the screen? So it helps you in doing a patient's site evaluation. That's what exactly we mean today is we take the sample volume to a site evaluation. Then we have this button with the name of measure. Whenever we do measurement, we are not going to talk about measurement right now, but if you look at the screen appears as measurement of area, caliber, volume, 2 dimensions and all those things which we will be using over a period of time. Switch off color. Then one more button is there which is name of caliber. Like suppose I want to measure something bordered of blue. I don't want to go to measures. Look, there's a cursor which came over here. It is work like a caliper. Then finally the image to be stored. So we talk of a storing of image. Here is, if I store this image over here, look on the screen, there is an image which shows like this you have interrogated or this you have stored in the images. With this few little initial happenings, let me go and freeze a second for a second and then show you a live demonstration for the time being. So now you can see a subject who's lying over here, and with the subject we have an ECG gating, and with this ECG gating we can show a ECG leads attached to the subject. Now I'm going to show an image. Along with the image, I'm going to show you a knob then. This is a Plaques window, left third intercostal space, and I'm going to show an index marker which is facing his right shoulder. And look, as soon as I put my index marker on his right shoulder, we have this image over here in echocardiography. You can see a complete screen image. In this screen image, this is what so-called a Plaques window is. In this Plaques window, what we see RA or RV on top, aorta, then LA, LV, and then interventricular septum and the posterior wall. And now I'm going to switch on colors on this image. Now to adjust to show you what is colors are. Look, here I'm going to show you the colors. Now you see there's so many colors which are seen over here. They are over colors, so that I'm going to reduce my gains to some extent.
Sir, voice is not coming.
Is this voice okay now?
Yes, sir.
So when we switch on the colors, please mute your mics. I'm saying, requesting again and again, please mute your mic. Already 2 people have been shunted out already. Don't feel like you could be the next one. So I'm switching on colors. Now you can see the colors on the screen.
Excuse me, sir, voice is not coming.
Go out and join again. You are the only one who is not able to listen to the voice. Quit and come back again. So this is what the colors are. You can see the colors. Now how to optimize your colors? That the first and foremost thing is. Now look at the right side of your screen. On the right side of our screen is
recording in progress.
Somebody has started recording these videos. Believe my words, we get every information out here if somebody disturbs in between. So on right side of the screen, you can see an inner थोड़ा सा image को settle करोगे. इसको कैमरा को मेरे को देखो. ये जो इसका nyquist limit दिखाना है. Box को nyquist limit. Yeah. इसको थोड़ा सा. Perfect. So if you look at the screen, what you can see over there? This is what the nyquist limit is. This is known as variance scale color. This is 53 up, 53 down. And this nyquist limit has got a very important role in clinical practice. What is the role of this nyquist limit is? If we increase the nyquist limit or we can decrease the nyquist limit, these colors, they'll be affected to a large extent. So what we do, we always keep this Nyquist limit between 50 to 60. Now, how do we adjust these Nyquist limit? Can I have the camera? Look at the scale out here. There is a button which is a name of a scale on a screen. 2D width, then comes scale and reset. If I change the scale on a screen, which I'm using this knob, look, the Nyquist limit is changing to 61. I'm going further, it goes to 70. And with change of Nyquist limit, what do you observe? Look, the colors gains have become less now. I'm going to 53 now. This is 53. Now see correspondingly, this is, I'll go to 2 screens. Now I'm going to increase the Nyquist limit. Now see the colors between left and right side of a screen. You cannot see a mosaic pattern of the screen colors. Here the mosaic pattern is seen on 50 to 60 Nyquist limit, and this is cannot be seen adequately away. Why these are important? Because when we talk of a mild, moderate, severe regurgitations and other things, we have this Nyquist limit between 50 to 60, and that really gives us a correct answer of mild, moderate, and severe. Second, whenever we measure LVOT diameter along with LVOT height, then also it gives us the same thing, like how much is the LVOT height and how much is the LVOT width of a regurgitant jet. That can be easily seen with this Nyquist limit. One more thing which you can really see over here by increasing the Nyquist limit is, I'm increasing to 61, and look at the left side of a screen over here. You can see a small tiny MR jet, and which is not seen on the right side of a screen with a 70 of a Nyquist limit. So these are the few points for first for a Nyquist limit. Second thing comes switch on a colors. Now you have to optimize your color. How do you optimize your colors? I'm going to increase my gains of the machines. Now we have 2 measures. One is active mode. Second is 2 dimensions mode. Here is 2D mode. So I'm going to focus to active mode and increase my gains a little bit as much as I can. Now I'm increased my active mode for 2 dimensions. You can see a lot of colors which are extra colors on the screen. So these extra colors should disappear, and that's how we are going to reduce my gains a little bit so as to optimize my color gain in this subject. So this is how we look at a Nyquist limit. This is how we look at our color gains in a subject when we are doing an echocardiography. Next comes once we are doing a Doppler. So I'm going to go to 4-chamber view. Yes, good. So I'm at 4-chamber view, and here's a screen over here. In 4-chamber view, so what I should do? First of all, I'm pressing my color button. Look, as soon as I shift my color button, and now I'm scrolling this color button to mitral valve. Then scrolling this color button to tricuspid valve, aortic valve. And now the colors are being shown in the aortic box. Yeah. So I'm going to focus on my mitral valve and focusing on my knobs again. First, I'll take my cursor, and here is the word cursor over here. So I'm going to take this cursor on the tip of the mitral valve leaflet. Can you see this tip of the mitral valve leaflet where the cursor is? So every valve, whenever we are doing evaluation, we put it on the tip of the mitral valve leaflets. So we are at the tip of the mitral valve leaflet. This is the cursor or a sample volume. And now on a screen, I'm going to press what? I'm going to press my PW button. So I'm going to press my PW button. So this is pulse wave Doppler spectrum pattern. What is pulse wave Doppler spectrum pattern? If you look at the screen carefully, this is a sample volume, and this sample volume has a distance of almost 2 to 3 millimeters. Here is, look at the screen. This is 5 millimeters of a sample volume. I can reduce this sample volume to 2 to 3 millimeters, or you can keep it 2 to 5 millimeters of a sample volume. This sample volume is looking at a flow velocity at the tip of mitral valve, not along whole line of a scale. And since it is a site specific, so the box would be empty in between. And here we can measure the E wave and we can measure the A wave of a patient. And how do we do it? What I did exactly, I'm gone to screen again. On the screen, there's a one button with the name of caliper. So I'll just press the caliper, take the sample volume to the tip of the E wave, then again at the A wave. So it gives me a value of, look at the sign on the left hand side, 78 and 73. And if you remember when we talked of the velocity, the mitral valve velocity is how much? The mitral valve velocity is only 1.3, half of mitral is tricuspid, aortic is 1.7, half of aortic is pulmonic, that is 0.9 or 0.85. And if I switch over this continuous wave Doppler to colors, line, cursor, and now continuous wave Doppler. Look, I'm pressing continuous wave Doppler over here. So in this continuous wave Doppler, what exactly is happening? We have again, on right side of the screen, you see mitral valve. In this mitral valve, I'm going to trace mitral valve completely. So this I'm tracing, which is starting from the baseline, go up along the Doppler spectrum pattern, come back, go up in A wave, come back again, and let come back to the baseline. And this is what is a Doppler spectrum pattern across mitral valve. If you look at this Doppler spectrum pattern, what we saw, peak velocity 97, mean velocity 70, peak gradient 3.79, mean gradient 2.414, and heart rate is 67, and VTI, velocity time integral, is 29.23 centimeters. So one tracing gives you everything consisting of peak velocity, mean velocity, peak gradient, mean gradient, and velocity time integral along with the heart rate. And whenever we look for these kind of things, now if you have a mitral stenosis, the gradient has to be at least 5 or more, and more than 12 if it's a significant severe mitral stenosis. So this is how we get the mean gradients once we trace the Doppler spectral pattern. We can utilize a pressure half time. On right side of the screen, I'll click the pressure half time. And once I click the pressure half time, I'm going to take a sample volume to pressure half time. So drop to half of it. This is what the pressure half time is. Now you can see a mitral valve area by pressure half time is 2.54 centimeters square. So once we showed you pulse wave, second we showed you continuous wave Doppler, and third important point is we go back to, somebody asked me this subject was aliasing. Now I'm putting a sample volume, take a pulse wave, look, I'm pressing pulse wave out here, then reduce the scale now. Now, if the scale you look at it, this is 0.2 meters per second, 0.4 meter per second on both sides. So what exactly happening? The Doppler flow pattern is cut off on the top for a mitral flow pattern, and this is seen on the bottom of a screen. This is what is known as aliasing. How to improve this aliasing is, we bring the baseline down. With this bringing the baseline down, the scale has gone to 0.2 to 1 meters per second, and we are able to see this color Doppler spectrum pattern. Suppose we cannot do that, what do we should do next? We go back to again colors, mitral valve, pulse wave. I'm going to increase the scale now. Look at the scale over here. Scale reset. Now we are not scaling the reset, we are setting the scale of the screen now. Okay. And even if you can't use this, then the next it happens, you goes to continuous wave Doppler, because what will happen in multiple stenosis? The scale will not be able to go up. At one time, when the scale cannot go up, obviously you will go towards a continuous wave Doppler. And that's how we switch over to continuous wave Dopplers in this particular phenomenon. Now, just look at the color flow itself. I'm going to freeze this patient, store this image. Now, colors towards the transducer is red in color. Away from the transducer is blue in color. I'm widening a scale to explain you. Now, the colors towards the transducer is red in color. The color away from the transducer is blue in color. So this is what is known as blue away, red towards, BART, and that has been promoted at every place. Whenever the single format, which we call them as blue away and red towards, and that is how it happens to all the subjects when we do this in day-to-day practice. Next comes, we have talked about pulse wave, we have talked about continuous wave Doppler, we have talked about color flow mapping, and I think that's what we are looking forward. And now one more thing which I wanted to show at this particular point is as I'm going to trace it again, from the baseline, I'll go up, bring it back, go up, bring it back, and this is what I traced was peak velocity, mean velocity, peak gradient, and mean gradient. This peak velocity gives you a 4 into v square as a peak gradient. Mean velocity will give you 4 into mean velocity square will give you mean gradients. And this is how we look at the peak and mean gradients in day-to-day practice. Similarly, we can go to pressure half time again to look for what is the mitral valve area in the subject. This is almost 4.54 centimeters per second. Now the next thing comes for a Doppler spectrum pattern is what should be the filter cap in day-to-day practice. What do you mean by filter? I'm going to show this. This is what you see on a screen. This Doppler spectrum pattern is almost touching the baselines. If I increase my filter, these baselines would be removed completely. So I'm going to increase my low velocity jet or filters. Look, as I'm increasing my baseline filters, the base is almost cut off from the base. So we have to keep our filter toward a lower side of, and which is almost 300 in every subject. So this is what the button for a lower side of a 300 for lower velocity, low flow velocity jets evaluations. So we keep this filter as almost 300 megahertz of a filter, which can be shown in your screen for a normal subjects. So I think whatever we wanted to show from Doppler and color flow mapping, I've showed you on that. And I'll now take up one by one questions so that you can really look for the complete answers for these things. Can I have this, just hold on for a second. I'll call you one by one names. Dr. Balram Sharma.
Yes, sir.
Balram, you want to ask something?
No question right now, sir.
No question right now, Balram.
No, sir.
Dr. Vasudev Umakant Utpat.
Sir, for tricuspid, you actively reduce the velocity to lower down side, or you keep it as it is, sir?
For tricuspid, we don't change anything. I'll just show you tricuspid valve. Look, this is a tricuspid valve. I'm keeping my velocity almost at the same time. Nyquist limit 50 to 60. And now I'm going to take both pulse wave as well as continuous wave. For inward flow, velocity would be small, 0.9 or so. For regurgitation, the velocity would be high. So what you need a continuous wave Doppler for TR jet, and for forward flow, you need a pulse wave jet. Now look at the screen again. So I'm showing you a tricuspid flow velocity. This is a tricuspid valve. I'm increasing again so that you can see them very well. I'm switching on the colors of a tricuspid valve. Now you can see a small tricuspid regurgitation jet. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
This is a very, very clearly seen tricuspid jet over here. So I'm unfreezing it. Take my cursor at the tip of the tricuspid valve. So this is a pulse wave Doppler spectral pattern for tricuspid valve. Here is E wave, here is A wave. But if I'm going to measure my TR jet, if I take my pulse, look what exactly will happen. Now pulse will give you me a TR jet which is below the baseline. And now you can see a very well aliasing. This is forward flow and this is a TR jet gradient, which is systolic. So this is what aliasing happens in systolic wave. So what should I do? I'm going to take a pulse wave Doppler spectral pattern, move my baseline up to contain my TR jet gradient. I'm not able to contain my Doppler spectrum pattern of TR jet. Now I'm trying to increase my scale of a TR for pulse wave. Even then also I'm not able to contain the Doppler spectrum pattern. Now I'm going to shift over to continuous wave Doppler spectrum pattern. And as soon as I'm able to shift to continuous wave Doppler spectrum pattern, my flow is seen very, very clearly for a TR jet. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And sir, for 2D also, do we need to keep changing the gain, the side?
Okay, let me just show you the 2D gains now. I've already optimized, and good question you have asked. Question is, we keep this TGC. Rina, can you show the TGC? These are known as trans gain compensations. These are TGC.
Oya?
Please have a cup of coffee and don't say oya oya. So these are known as trans gain compensation. Look, this is closer to probe, which can now increasing the TGC at the local levels. Look what exactly happened when I increase the TGCs. The gains in the upper part is being increased selectively. Real, right? So I'm going to bring them back to normal. So for optimizing my gain, first is 2D gain. Can you show the screen? This is 2D gains. They are overall 2D gains. So I'm going to increase my 2D gains now. So I'm going to reduce my 2D gains for optimization for my image. And in case I can't see any structure adequately, and now I'm going to reduce my gains. Look, I can't see apex very clearly. So I'm going to increase my TGC gain or increase my 2 dimensions. And this is normally we keep a TGC gain at more than 50% because majority of these harmonic images, they have a system where they can do an automatic adjustment of 2 dimensions imaging. Look, this is the automatic button which I've pressed. This is the auto button. So once I've connected the auto button, machine has already adjusted my whole of the image automatically. So this is how we do it in 2 dimension image, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh merde, ce type.
Somebody is still playing a music on the class, you know, it really looks good bad. Banikyu,
Yes,
stop your music, Banikyu. You are the culprit right now over here.
I stop music.
Yeah, don't play your music or else I'll shout you out.
Yes. Yes.
Next person is Dr. Tushar.
Hello.
Tushar, go ahead.
Sir, what should be the grayscale exactly that should be set?
Grayscale is when your image is optimized adequately. Look, you do 2D scale, now increasing the grayscale.
No, sir. So as you say, Nyquist's coefficient should be between 50 to 60. So
That is for colors.
Yeah, sir. So is there any for grayscale also?
Nothing for a grayscale because grayscale will change from person to person because it is a thick versus thin or medium bit.
So no, sir, as you have increased the grayscale now, it appears to be whiter. So many a times people say that it should be a dark image because unnecessarily you will point out something that is not needed.
Now I've made you optimized image.
Yes.
So reduce your color till your cavity is almost black and you can see the interface of a black and white. This is black cavity. This is endocardium. So you can see a black and white interface.
Also, I have seen some people using chrome and green color or other colors. So is there any benefit of using those things?
This is what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look, our eye is very capable of identifying colors rather than grayscale. It means to say that my eyes are picking up a substantial wall motion abnormality in this chroma color is better than in gray color.
Okay.
So if you look at a screen, you're able to see a screen on the left hand side.
Yes.
Tissue colors, medium, vivid, light, bright, aqua map, this is temporary map or some word. This is gold, this is sepia. So if you are not able to see any colors, then switch on to this gray, chroma colors to identify any subsequent, any structure or a wall motion abnormality.
Also, sir, as your machine is having a button of TVI and other easy measurement buttons, some of the Philips machine or some other machines don't have. They have inbuilt software. So can we have a session on that, or can we have something related to that?
No, it's not possible. That you have to call your vendor. Okay. Where your vendor will explain all those things.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right? Right. Thank you. Dr. Tam, Tyam Banikyu, any questions, Tyam? Banikyu. Dr. Tyam is from France and now earlier he was playing music and now he is disappeared. Dr. Ghansham Motisaria.
No, sir, no question.
Dr. Damodar Das Swapnil Arsakar.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
One question,
Swapnil, go ahead.
sir. I just wanted to know now when you measured E and the A wave peaks, that time you did that in PW, but when you traced the entire metal wall Doppler spectral pattern, that you did in continuous wave. Any specific reason, sir?
Look, when the question is, when are we going to trace these EA ratios? When? When we'll have a high flow velocity, like in mitral stenosis. Normal subject, we are not going to do that. I'm going to show you a picture from the same image. This image has got, this is E and A wave. This is a recorded image from our machine, right? In this recorded image, we have just measured E and A velocity. E wave is 0.79, A wave is 99. With this EA velocity, I don't have to go for peak and mean gradient of velocities. If this is high flow velocities, when we need a peak and mean gradients, then only I'll be going towards other things. Right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Rahul Kekan. Rahul?
Yes, sir.
ahead.
Sir, two doubts. One regarding the probe position, sir. Can you please explain the terms like tilting the probe, rotating the probe?
Wait for some time. Next to next class would be something like this.
Okay, sir.
Today we want to show you
And sir,
color
the
doctor. Yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
and sir, the other thing that sometimes during when we take the views, the endocardium is not clearly visible. So, any tips regarding what we
Correct.
should adjust?
Now, I'm showing you an image where you can't see a good endocardium. Okay? Is it good? Now I'm going to show this changes to other images now. Look at the left side. I've moved to brighter images. Now with brighter images, my endocardium has started appearing over here. Now with light, I was not able to see, and I can use my chroma colors as somebody in the previous, as somebody was asking in the previous images, when do we use these chroma colors? Next important thing which you can see or do is, look at the machine now. Can you see the machine?
Yes, sir.
There is a word which is known as octave frequency. Right?
Yes, sir.
With this octave frequency, we have to shorten it down. Image because to show right side of this. Yeah, it's okay. With short of this this octave frequency, this is octave frequency. Now look at the right side of the screen. This is 1.7 megahertz, 3.3. Can you see this 1.7, 3.3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm increasing or reducing this octave frequency to 1.4. 1.4 to 2.8. Now look at the right side of the screen. I'm increasing this frequency. So right side of the frequency going up to 2 to 4 megahertz, right? If I reduce this frequency to 1.4, it goes to 1.4 to 2.8 megahertz. What does this impact you? That is an important issue. Now, just look at the screen now, and I'll show you the image of impact of this image. Your question is a very well thought question. Look, I'm scanning this person with 1.4 megahertz now. I'm going to change to 2 megahertz. If I'm using lower frequency, I'm getting a better penetration. So where the problem comes when you have an obese person. So if you have an obese person, you change this octave frequency of evaluation from 2 megahertz or 1.5 megahertz to as low as possible. So my machine gives you up to 1.4 megahertz. Right?
Yes, sir.
Just it's just a it's just a Okay, that is clear now.
I
Yes,
don't
sir.
see. I don't see slide.
We don't show any slides. Banikyu, today is no day for slides.
No slide in my computer. I see you, but I don't see slide.
Banikyu, you are a, I don't know, I can't say anything. You go to Jorop Institute, Rina, do a double click on it, then you'll see the slides.
No, I see you.
That's what I'm doing. Banikyu, please listen to me. Please go to the point. Look at on the screen. There is a number of icons are there. One of the icon is Jorop Institute. Double click on Jorop Institute.
Okay. Alors.
Dr. Rao, is that okay now?
I begin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Krishna Yadav. Krishna Yadav. Dr. Jigna Viresh. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. Good evening, sir. Sir,
Jigna,
I have one. Yes, sir. I have one question. So there is a Lycus limit. There is a green color is there. So is that compulsory? Because generally we do echoes. So we use only blue and red color. So
I'm
is
coming down. Look, Jigna, what exactly is what you are saying is I'm going to come to that.
yes, sir.
In my screen, what you are able to see, this is red, yellow, blue, and light blue.
Yes.
This is the colors of indigo, this thing, rainbow. So violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. This is known as variance scale. What you were talking of, you can use these colors, you can change to, that's what you were saying, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can choose anyone. It all depends on you which you want to choose. Now this is what you must be choosing over a period of time. This is what colors you have been choosing.
Yes, sir.
Now I'll show you what is the, because high velocity jets will be a little difficult in this colors. Now I'm going to show you the colors. Now look at these colors. If I change this color to variance map, then it will be more easy for us. These are multiple maps which you can see on the screen. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, but we will use a variance color map for day-to-day practice.
Okay.
You can use anyone. It depends which eyes you are tuned to. I'm tuned to my variance map. Majority of people, they are tuned to red and blue maps.
Okay.
Right, Jigna?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Next is Jayanti. Jayanti, are you there? Ranjit Shankar Mohit.
Sir, explain that filter function.
Filter function. So now look at the right side of a screen, you know. This is LV reject. If you happen to see on the right side of the screen, this is LV reject 13.7 centimeters, right? So I'm going to increase this LV reject to 20 centimeters. Now look at the Doppler spectrum pattern. It has been cut off from the baseline, right? So this should not cut off from the baseline, and that's why we reduce it to 13.7 in our machines. Many of the machines will not talk of this 13.7. Many of the machines will talk of megahertz filter, and roughly the megahertz filter is about 300 megahertz in majority of machines. So keep your filter between 3 to 400 megahertz, and that'll be great enough for your machines. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Bhatkar, Dilip Pandit. Dr. Dilip Pandit. Dr. Dinesh Tiwari.
Yes, sir.
Dinesh,
My
go
question
ahead.
is, yes, when we take CW for example, MR. So when we have to press the CW button at the time of cardiac cycle, at what time of cardiac cycle?
You press a button at any time because it will keep on recording it.
Okay, so it will take by itself at the time of MR.
Yeah, because now I don't have a good MR in this subject. Let me just show you that what exactly you're looking for. Look, I don't have a good MR, but I've got a significant demonstrable TR, and this is normal. This is nothing abnormal. So I'm keeping my cursor line right into the TR, and in TR, I'm switching over my pulse wave. Now you can see the aliasing of a TR.
Yes.
This is aliasing of TR. Now this TR is seen on the side of the scale. So I'm unfreezing it. Now I'm moving my baseline to up.
Okay.
I still can't contain my Doppler spectrum pattern in this subject. It is going beyond this line also again. So at this time, I'll just switch on to continuous wave Doppler. Now it's continuously recording it.
Oh, okay.
And now you can see your TR jet very clear. Right?
And sir, okay, sir, thank you. And sir, what about the M mode? You hope you discuss M mode slides in this.
M mode is like color M mode.
Normal M mode, sir. I haven't seen any discussion on that.
We did not talk about M mode right now. We'll come back on M mode day after, next to next week.
Okay.
But we can show you color M mode. Like, look, this is a cursor I've seen in color M mode. Kept. And then I've taken my what? M mode. This is what exactly you see. This is the flow of a color across this mitral valve during every diastole. When the mitral valve opens, the blood flows from LA to LV. So this is E wave. This is diastasis when no blood is flowing or minimal is flowing. And this is atrial kick.
Okay.
This is known as color flow M mode. It has got a utility during my what do you say is a utility during diastolic dysfunction evaluation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Dr. Dinesh Tiwari.
And we will learn the dimensions and yes, sir. We will learn the dimension and EF calculation in later on.
2 weeks down the line. Today we are trying to expose you to color Doppler, pulse wave, continuous wave Doppler. Then we are left with views in between for live demonstrations. When we talk about the views, we'll do a measurements also.
Okay.
Dr. B.R.
Thank you, sir.
Pawar. Dr. Pawar, are you there? Dr. Pawar? Dr. Rakshit Bhardwaj. Rakshit Bhardwaj, Dr. Ankam Patel,
No question, sir.
Dr. Nitin Gupta.
No question, sir.
No question, Nitin.
No question.
Dr. Mohammad Hiru Al Amin.
Hello. Thank you, sir. Sir, I have two queries. First one is, can you again repeat the frequency per speed in color Doppler, and what is the importance of this?
Frequency speed, no. It is a color flow propagation. This was talking of a color flow propagation. This is what you are talking about?
Yeah.
This is known as color flow propagation. What exactly does it mean by when you switch on the colors, the blood flow from LA to LB, and by M mode, we are able to see their speeds. Okay, Hiru?
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, another things in some eco machine, we see that there is a eye scan image.
I'm sorry, Hiru. I don't know what is that eye scan images are.
Sir, in our NICVD Institute, Dhaka, in our all the machine there is eye scan image. So, what is the role of this button in eye scan image button?
Hiru, I'll get back to you. Give me a time.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
talk to a couple of people, or you can talk to Monroe Hussain. Monroe is in your institute only. Or Monroe, are you able to listen to me, Hiru?
Yeah, sir. I heard you, sir.
There is a Dr. Manurul Hussain, or there is Dr. Sabina also. They'll tell you eye scan button, or you can do one thing. Tomorrow you go to your department, call me on a WhatsApp and show me the button. I'll tell you what that means by.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right here. So we know to go to the next person, Dr. Sirisha.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good
Sir,
afternoon,
you are
Sirisha.
talking about the size of the box in color Doppler. Sir, what is the significance, sir? What if it is bigger and what if it is smaller?
Sirisha, if the size is bigger, then we have a drop in frame rate. Look at the screen now. I'm switching on colors, right? And see on the right side of a screen, the frame rate is 22. Correct? If I widen up this box, what will happen? My frame rate will drop. So I'll underestimate my regurgitation jets or forward flow jets. Is that clear, Srisha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
sir,
we
then,
keep, as high as frame rate is.
keep the frame rate high. Okay, sir.
As high
sir,
as
my
possible.
yes, sir. My other question is, sir, in pulse wave Doppler across mitral valve and tricuspid valve, sir, what is the significance of peak and mean pressure and peak velocity and mean velocity, sir? What are they used for?
Correct. The significance of peak velocity and mean velocity in mitral valve and tricuspid valve or aortic valve is, when we talk of a mitral stenosis, when we talk of a tricuspid stenosis, when we trace that Doppler spectral pattern, the mean gradient gives you a severity of the lesion. On the other hand, peak velocity in aortic and pulmonic valve will give you the severity of lesion. And that's why we use peak and mean velocity and gradient accordingly. So whenever the stenotic lesion comes, we have to measure their peak and mean velocity as well as their gradients. We'll come back to them when we are talking about valvular stenotic lesions. Is that
Okay,
okay,
sir. Thank you.
Sirisha?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Ganesh Tukaram Tomare. Dr. Ganesh? Dr. Ganesh, are you there or you left? Dr. Nandakumar Bangre. Bangre. Dr. Sayali Nandakumar Bangre. Sumant Kumar. Ishwar Agarwal.
Sir, my question is, if a patient has ASD or VSD, and in atrioventricular flow, we know that the flow is from atria to ventricular, which is majorly, and we can map the regurgitations. But in a patient with ASD or VSD, it will be tough, if it is flowing from left to right or after reversal, it is reversal of
No, it will be very, very clear. Let me just take out a slide from my armamentarium. The colors are very clearly seen, not very, very clearly seen colors. Can you see this slide?
Yes, sir.
Now this slide has got, this is Flack's window. We have not discussed about this. Theoretically, we have discussed. This is RV on top. This is interventricular septum. This is aorta. This is LA. This is mitral valve. There is a shunt between LV and RV. This is VSD. And whenever you have these shunt, the colors are very beautifully seen. This patient, I'll show you one more slide of the same patient. This has got a pulmonic stenosis. This is parachute short axis view at aorta, and we see a significant turbulence at pulmonic valve. I'm zooming up the gains now. Look, if you look at this valve, you find significant thickening of this valve. And switch on colors, you see significant amount of colors are there. And not only this, this patient has got a most probably doubly committed VSD.
Okay. No, sir, means from right to left or left to right flow.
Okay.
So that is the flow, it can be seen like from atria to ventricle. We see it is like red, which is from atria to ventricle.
Right.
And we see a regurgitation that is back. Okay. When there is VSD or ASD, initially LV to RA, LV to RV flow, then after right ventricular is hypertrophy, there is reversal of shunt, and there is flow from RV to LV. In that case,
let me just look at it. I hope I should have the slides over here.
so that VSD that you shown, can you say means this is from the flow is from LV to RV, means what we should see in that, because red color was in toto on the both the sides. It was not like making a correction.
Just give me a second. I'll explain you what exactly you're looking for. I'm back to same slide again, right?
Yes, sir.
Now look, two important part. This is a QRS cycle over here. Can you see the QRS cycle?
Yes.
Can you see this red button?
Yes, sir.
Red cursor?
Yes.
Now I'm going to scroll this cursor to end of a system. What do you see now?
So at the VSD, there is total blue, which is total blue, means it is coming, it is going away from the probe.
Away from the probe means the blood is flowing from RV to LV.
Right, sir, because RV is towards the, okay, right.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now you got the correct answer. So what will happen? This is happening during diastole.
Yes, towards diastole.
Right? And
yes,
if there's a reversal of shunt, what do you mean by reversal of shunt?
It's from RV to LV is reversal.
RV to LV during when?
During systole.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
So you find there is no reversal of shunt during systole, a small amount of reversal of shunt during diastole. If you happen to see a blue color during systole, it means the reversal of flow has already started.
Okay.
And this is only possible when you're doing gating, ECG gating.
So when you're
When
doing
you
what?
know ECG is attached. If ECG
Right,
is
sir.
attached to echocardiography, we call them as ECG gating.
Right, sir.
Without this ECG gating, we will not be able to see the colors. We will not be able to see whether the flow is from left to right or right to left.
Got your, sir. Got your points.
Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Ishwar Agarwal, we are done. Dr. Anupa George. Dr. Anupa George, are you there? You were there. Dr. Anupa George. Dr. Amit Kumar Danduri, Potwarkar. Dr. Amit Kumar.
No, sir. No any question.
No question. Umesh G. Razu.
Sir, yeah, I am there.
Yeah, I know you are there, man. I can hear your voice, beautiful voice.
Sir, aliasing you told we can overcome by shifting the baseline, sir.
Correct. Shifting the baseline in opposite direction.
Okay. Are there any other method or how we can
Increase the
overcome?
increase the scale or change the baseline.
Okay. What is that pulse?
Shift to continuous wave Doppler.
What is the pulse repetition frequency, sir?
We do not use pulse repetition frequency anymore.
Okay.
Leave that now. That was a time when we did not have continuous wave Doppler with us.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Now we have a significant continuous wave Doppler.
Okay, sir. Sir, now new machines, most of them are digital, this thing, sir.
Right, right.
So these knobs and all.
They are almost the same. Every machine has got 2D, M mode, color, pulse wave, continuous wave, tissue velocity imaging, cursor, measurement, caliper, image store, freeze.
Okay, sir. Okay.
My best answer to all of you is you push your button in your machine. Every button you push and see what exactly is happening with your buttons.
Okay, sir. Thank
you.
you.
And the best part of any equipment is when you switch off that machine, switch it on, it comes back to factory settings. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Vishal Sardesai. Vishal?
No question, sir. No question, sir.
Okay. Mitul Jain?
No question, sir.
Mitul, I hope you are not traveling anymore to Delhi.
No, sir.
Okay. I hope you are not in flight today.
No, sir.
Great. Dr. Namdev Limbaji?
No question, sir.
Dr. Suman Chatterjee? Dr. Suman Chatterjee? Calling Dr. Suman Chatterjee. Dr. Anchala Singh?
No question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Rahul Gore? Rahul, are you there?
Yes, sir. No questions.
Oh, Rahul, you asked me last time how do I identify my MSMR, and then you're talking today that I have no questions. You forgot, Rahul?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I asked regarding how to. Sorry, sir.
It's very strange, you know. Dr. Rakesh Gupta is remembering. You're not able to remember your questions.
No, sir. I am not remember, but okay.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Okay,
I'll show you that.
okay.
Just give me a second. I'm showing you on the screen your MSMR. Now, this is a patient who has got MS and MR together. It's atherosclerotic, nothing significant. So, if you look at this MS and MR, you go to this, can you see this red button over here, this cursor over here?
Yes, sir.
So, if you look at this cursor, I'm going to scroll this cursor. Initially, systole. So, all the blood of MR would be there in systole. So, you can see the speckle of colors over here. This is systolic MR. And if I move this cursor, now you can see some amount of all the blood which is going towards mitral wall, that be during diastole, so that you can identify MSMR together in one patient itself.
Yes, sir.
Now you can see MS, the blood towards, and the red color blood away from the transducer. And you have some amount of a blue color which is going towards aorta.
Yes, sir.
So this is what the colors is. Somebody was asking on that day, sir, what is the problem with the colors? We can do something without the colors also. But colors can tell you whether they are in systole and diastole, whether they are towards a transducer or away from a transducer. If they are towards a transducer, like in mitral valve, they will be forward flow. If they're away from a transducer, there will be a regurgitation. Right, Rahul?
Yes, sir.
So remember your question next time when you ask it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Shashank Prabhu Desai.
No question, sir.
Dr. Jai Singh.
Yes, sir.
Question,
Sir,
Jai.
sir, once again, please tell me, sir, how will we will change the baseline and the scale in the machine?
Okay. Rina, show me that. So what I'm going to do is show you the screen both. Switch on colors first. Adjust the colors. Then go to cursor. Bring the sample volume at the tip of the mitral leaflets. Then pulse wave. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now look at the right side of a screen over here. This is scale is 1 meter. Suppose I reduce this scale. So I'll go to scale reset. There's a button with the name of scale reset. So I'm going to reduce my scale reset. Right? So what do I do now? So first I'll look at I'm going to bring my baseline down. It's getting adjusted. Or I can increase the scale, further adjusted. And if it's still not getting contained, now it's there very well, I switch over to continuous wave. 3 points. Change the scale, shift the baseline, or go to continuous wave. Even in this, if you happen to look, what exactly is happening? Look, this MR jet is having aliasing now. This is MR jet, correct? So what do I do now? I'm going to increase my scale further because continuous wave Doppler has got a very high scale. So I can contain my MR jet Doppler spectrum. So that's how I do it. Change the baseline, change the scale, switch over to continuous wave Doppler, and change the scale again.
Got
4
it, sir.
things.
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question.
Go ahead.
Hello. Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
In this window, sir, sometimes we see 5, 10, 15 on the left side. What is the role of that thing?
Great. What's your name? Rahul.
Jai Singh, sir.
Jai Singh, you're an intelligent person, then. God bless you. Nobody asked me this question. I was wondering, nobody has asked me this. This question is, what is the role of this 5, 10, 15? This is the depth of a machine of interrogation. Look, there is a button out here. I'll show you the button. Look at the button out here. This is depth. Suppose I'm increasing the depth. Now this is scanning up to 20 centimeter into his heart. So I'm seeing all this descending aorta over here and other structures. So I'm going to bring it back to 15 centimeters. Normally, we keep about 15 to 16 centimeters because we can see both LB, LA, aorta over here. This is one. This is depth. This is 17 centimeter now in this subject. And second question you could ask, what is the Doppler sector which you should use? We should use the Doppler sector when it is able to contain its LV cavity, right? So if I go to the machine again, look, width reset. I'm resetting the width. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
This width reset, look at the frame rate on right side. I have increased the width. It has gone to almost 90. So we have to keep it about 65 to 70. Depth has 15 to 17 and this width has almost 65 to 70 to keep your frame rate as more than 50. And this is all garbage. We don't need all this on this side. So that's how we keep a width as well as the depth. Clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, I know this is the question of next classes. For example, in TR jet, sometimes we measure the tip of that jet, and sometimes we measure the whole area of that jet. What is the difference in between and the indication?
Just a minute. I'll show you. What exactly you're asking, I'll tell you what exactly you mean by. First question is, you measure the width of this jet, right? Is that it? This width tells you about severity of TR jet, whether it's mild, moderate, or severe. Mild is less than 3 millimeter, moderate is 3 to 7, more than 7 till 14 is known, more than 7 is known as severe, 7 to 14 is known as massive, 14 to 21 is known as torrential. But this does not have any value as far as severity is concerned. The severity is dependent on the TR jet velocity. How does TR jet velocity comes up? I switch on a colors, then get my Doppler spectrum pattern to the TR jet and go to continuous state because that is high flow velocity jet.
Yes, sir.
He does not have a very good, but let me presume this is a TR jet velocity of 3 meters per second. 3 meter will constitute to 36 millimeters of a gradient. And for pulmonary artery pressure, what should be the gradient? Anything more than 2.9 is considered as abnormal. 36 plus RA pressure, which is 5, 41, presume is at 40. 0.6 of 40 plus 2.1 will give you a mean pulmonary artery pressure. Any mean more than 25 is considered as raised. So one is TR jet width, second is TR jet gradient. We put more emphasis on TR jet gradient rather than width. On the other hand, MR has got more value for MR width, what we call as vena contracta during systole. Any vena contracta more than 7 millimeter is considered as severe mitral regurgitation. We'll be coming to those topics one by one. Okay?
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right, Jason. Good question. Dr. Gote. Shrikant Gote.
No questions. No questions.
Dr. Gote, there are boards which are going in Sri Lanka now. Gote go, Gote go, Gote go.
No questions.
No question, Gote?
No.
No, I was telling you something. There is a billboard in Sri Lanka for the president Gote to go. I hope you do not belong to the same family.
No, sir.
Okay. Vinay Sharma.
No questions, sir.
Dr. Anudeep Reddy. Dr. Anudeep Reddy. Calling Dr. Anudeep Reddy. Dr. Karanveer. Dr. Samrat Sukumar Madanik. Madha Naik.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Are you
Good
able to
evening,
hear me,
sir.
sir?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
100%.
Sir, yes, sir. I had very nicely explained, sir. I had a couple of questions, sir.
Go ahead.
So my first question is, while measuring, we were measuring the pressure half time. So at what exact points do we put the cursor while measuring the pressure half time in a case of valvular stenosis?
I'm doing that for you the way you should do it. This is
Yes,
the
sir.
tip of the mitral valve, E wave.
Right, sir.
Go till bottom along with the
Okay.
line.
Okay. Yes, sir.
This is how you should measure pressure half time. So I measured this patient just a minute. This is pressure half time. I'll go from a tip and up
Okay.
to the bottom along with this line.
Okay. Yes, sir.
One.
Yes, sir.
Next question.
Yes, sir. My second question was, sir, during Doppler interrogation, many times the valves or the regurgitant jets are not properly aligned along with the Doppler beam. So in such situations, even if sometimes we try to optimize the echo windows, many times they don't come parallel to the valvular structures or to the regurgitant flows. So are there any tips or tricks, sir? Like how can we optimize the Doppler profile in these situations?
The best answer is switch on colors and just take the colors into that cursor into your image quality at the time. How do we do it? I'm going to do it for you now.
Yes, sir.
So look at this time when I'm looking for a colored jets, I'm not bothered about my 2D image, first of all.
Yes, sir.
So I'll just try to get aligned with my mitral flow jets. Now look, this mitral flow jet is almost the way this cursor is moving. Can you see this
Right,
aligned
sir.
with the cursor? So
Yes,
forget
sir. Yes,
about
sir.
image, whether it's 2 chamber, 3 chamber, we are not bothered for that image at that moment. We are
Okay. Yes, sir.
number of times I say to my students, just get rid of this image, focus on the colors.
Yes, sir.
That's how I'll always say. In mitral regurgitations, you can use 2 chamber, 4 chamber, or 3 chamber because mitral valve would be seen in all views.
Yes, sir.
So use in this particular window. For aortic valve, you can use 3 chamber or you can use 5 chamber.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, for tricuspid valve, you can use this focused normal 4 chamber or focused RVRA.
Yes, sir.
And we can use 5 more windows in these valves. So whenever you are in that particular fashion, you can focus accordingly. Those things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Tamogana Das.
Sir, in the slide for the MS and MR color flow mapping, sir, how do you identify the MS?
Okay, I'll go back to my valve slides. Any doubt? Tamogana Das?
No, sir. It's clear.
Very clear?
Yes, sir.
And you can see MR also very clear. Can you see MR?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to freeze my image. Look, again, ECG gating is very helpful. This is, look at the red cursor. This red cursor, as it moves further, now it's showing you an MR jet. Look at beautiful MR jet.
Sir.
Can you see this MR jet?
Yes, sir.
And as we go further, MR jet disappears because that is early systolic MR jet. And now end of a systole, mitral valve opens, and now you see a beautiful flame of mitral stenosis.
Yes, sir.
This is what the colors are. You know, they have made our life very easy, very easy. Observe something more. You can see the color flow of the pulmonic veins also, red colors.
Sir. Yeah.
Sir, can you change the colors only to blue and red, sir, for the same image?
Just a minute, let me try. I can do everything on this machine. This machine I'm handling for last almost 97 and 25 years. I'm showing you all the colors. Now, this is Jigna, right? Jigna, you asked me this question.
Sirisha.
Sirisha. Now
Yes,
see the blue, red and blue colors.
Okay, sir.
It all depends on which you are comfortable with.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Tamogna, anything else?
No, sir.
Dr. Durgesh Makwana?
Yes, sir. We haven't included any tissue Doppler here, no? So can you
You want
explain
to
a bit
share
because
tissue doctor? Okay, we'll show a tissue doctor. What is tissue Doppler is analyzing the velocity of tissue movement. So I'm going to increase my depth, reduce my sector scale as much as possible. Now it's almost, look at the frame rate. It's more than 200 now. Then TDI button I'll press. Now this TDI button is interrogating only the septal movement or septal thickening. I'll take my cursor, keep at the medial annulus. Freeze my 2D. Now pulse wave. This is tissue Doppler image.
okay, sir.
Wait a minute, let me complete now. Don't be in a hurry. This is a very good measure for looking for what? This is first for systolic thickening. This is, look at the value of 6. Anything 7 or more is considered as normal, right?
Yes.
Then this is early E prime septal, which is used for Doppler assessment of diastolic function. And
Yes,
this is A prime septal. Most important part of this particular phenomena is you can measure your time of IVRT. What is IVRT? Closure of mitral valve, closure of aortic valve and opening of mitral valve is 114 milliseconds. This is much better seen over here. 94 minutes. This is properly anything more than 90 is 70 to 90 is considered as normal. If I look at this, this is small little reduction of tissue Doppler velocity across septal annulus. And we are going to use it again and again in our clinical practice, both for systolic evaluation as well as diastolic evaluation.
Diastolic evaluation.
Okay, Kevin, Bora.
Sir, I would like to know what is E wave, A wave?
Kevin, once we have a 4-chamber view, put a Doppler spectrum pattern across mitral valve or tricuspid valve, what we look at initial emptying, which is known as E wave, and atrial kick, which is known as A wave. These are only seen in mitral and tricuspid valves. Is that clear, Kevin?
What inference do we draw from these waves, sir?
Yes. What inference you will draw? This is E and A wave tells you about velocity, will tell you about stenotic of mitral or tricuspid valve. Then second, this E wave and A wave are used for calculation of a diastolic flow patterns. What is the velocity across a mitral valve? Normal velocity is 1.3 meters per second of E wave. If the velocity is more than 1.3, it means my valve is stenotic.
Okay.
If this E and E prime of the tissue Doppler tells you about our diastolic functions. If E to E prime ratio is more than 10, our diastolic function is, or my LA pressures are little elevated. That's what it tells.
Okay. Sir, secondly, I would like to, I have seen the parasternal long axis view. Can you please show me parasternal short axis view at the aorta, mitral valve, papillary muscle, and at the apex? I would like to see the view, sir, like how to.
I'm showing you. Just give me a sec. I'm showing you.
Parasternal short axis view on the patient, sir, like how to.
Yeah, I'm
because
showing on the patients.
in the first class, we had discussed at the index marker should be at 11 o'clock, and then for short axis to rotate at 2 o'clock and see accordingly.
Yeah, we are focusing on that. Just give me a second. We did not plan to do that today. Next month. All right. This is left third intercostal space, correct? It is left third intercostal. This is my index marker. My index marker is facing 11 o'clock position.
Yes, sir.
On his chest. And look at this 11 o'clock position, what we see in the screen.
Yes.
If I rotate this transducer, keeping at the same position, rotate 90 degree.
Yes,
and
sir.
the footprint looking towards aorta. My footprint is looking towards aorta now.
Okay.
Then is parachute short axis view at aorta.
So footprint is at the
1 o'clock
gray.
position, 1 or 2 o'clock position. Footprint was at 11, rotated to 1 or 2 o'clock position.
Yes.
Now, look at the footprint. Now I'm going perpendicular. As I'm going perpendicular, we are looking at mitral valve.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going towards his left hip. So I'm coming towards his papillary muscles.
Okay.
A further tilt or further towards his left hip, I'm looking towards apex.
Okay.
Just this movement.
Yes, sir.
Rotate 90 degree, aorta,
Yes, sir.
mitral valve, papillary muscles, and apex. Coming back to 11 o'clock position, let the footprint looks toward mediastinum. What do we see? We see RV, RA inflow. This is RV, RA, this is RA, this is RV inflow.
Yes. Yes.
We'll keep it next week. We did not want to touch it this moment at this moment.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ravi Bhushan. Dr. Chandan Mahapatra.
Sir, hello.
Yeah, Chandan.
Sir, am I audible?
100%.
Am I audible, sir?
100%.
Sir, my question is any sir tips and tricks for mitral tracing in case of atrial fibrillation?
No, in mitral tracing, atrial fibrillation is take as many measurement as possible. Give me a second. I'll
yes,
show you.
Sir, please, sir.
Yeah, look, this is one lady whom I showed you the valve. Can you remember this mitral valve?
Sir, sir.
She's in atrial fibrillation. So now look at the patterns. So you will find many patterns of because there's no A wave in this patient. You can see only one single E wave, which is going diastole, which is going up to the end of a diastole. So what we recommend in our patient is, look, we correct multiple views. We'll take multiple patterns and then give average 5 of values. Like this is 1.85, next is 1.87, 1.57 mean, 1.56 mean. So we'll correct 5 values and give the average of these values.
Okay. And just in healthy patients, sir, just show me, sir, how the
healthy patient would be normal because healthy patient if there is no stenotic gradients. Why the
sorry, sir.
Healthy patient will not have any. Suppose healthy patient is atrial fibrillation, right? I'll just show you healthy patient in atrial fibrillation. This is non-valvular atrial fibrillation. What you are talking about,
sir?
I'm going to show you non-valvular atrial fibrillation. Just give me a second.
Yes.
This is a patient in atrial fibrillation. You look at this LV normal, RV normal, large LA, large RA, right? And
yes.
now look at the Doppler flow pattern across this patient. These are multiple E waves are there. So what we'll do, we'll measure E wave. If the E wave velocity is normal, 0.85. So I'm not going to take peak and mean gradients. If the E wave velocity is more than 5 or 2 meters, then I'll talk of continuous wave Doppler and then take peak and mean gradients.
Sir.
All right?
Yes, sir. All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Yogesh Namdev.
Good evening, sir. No questions, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Majrul Islam. Sai Prasad.
No questions, sir. Thank you.
Manu Kapil. Dr. Manu Kapil. Dr. Clay.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Go ahead, Clay.
So my question is, how do you identify a patient with mild or moderate MR?
How do you look a patient for mild to moderate MR, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'll show you moderate or mild MR. Okay. This is Plaque's window, Dr. Clay.
Okay.
Can you see this MR jet over here?
Okay.
Zoom up this MR jet. I'm zooming it up for you.
Right.
Right? Then I'll take a caliper, measure this jet width in Plaque's window only.
Okay.
This width is 0.34. If this width is more than 7.70 centimeter or 7 millimeter, then is considered as severe mitral regurgitation.
Okay.
The catch point is my Nyquist limit has to be between 50 to 60.
Okay.
And this is the most standard definition for evaluation of mitral regurgitation.
Okay.
Anything else, Clay?
No, sir.
So don't go beyond this. If you are able to do this is known as vena contracta. If the vena contracta is more than 0.7 centimeter, this is always a severe MR. If it is associated with dilated LV, is further a severe MR.
Okay, okay, sir.
All right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. I hope I've done everybody. Any questions from rest of the people? Anybody who's left?
Sir, I was left.
Who is that?
Sir, Dr. Karnveer.
Dr. Karnveer. Okay.
Yes,
you did not listen when I
my
called your name. Anyway, please go ahead, Karnveer.
Sir, can you elaborate something about TAPSE, sir?
All right. What is TAPSE?
Tricuspid annular plane.
Systolic excursion.
Systolic excursion. Yes, sir.
So how do we look for TAPSE? Let me go and show you a slide for TAPSE. Can you see this? This is 4-chamber view.
Yes, sir.
This is tricuspid annulus.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to go to the M mode and tricuspid annulus. Very simple. Is that clear? Now
Yes.
on the left side of our screen, you can see this is the systolic excursion of tricuspid annulus. From the base of the systolic excursion, I'll go on top. At least this much is TAPSE, 2.27. Let me take one more image for you. Same. And this is a marker for what? Currently, what is the marker? What is this is used for TAPSE?
That is used for right ventricular
Systolic function. No, systolic function, not diastolic. Systolic function.
Yes, sir.
Anything more than 1.7 centimeters is considered as normal.
Yes, sir.
All right, Karmi. Anything
Yeah,
else?
yeah. Thank you, sir. No problem.
Anybody else before I close down the session? We'll send you the recording.
Sir, for tissue Doppler, do we need to reduce the sector size?
No, tissue Doppler is not a sector size. We have to be as small as possible because to get a higher frame rate.
Okay, sir. And for AR with MS, the color Doppler, can it be missing something like AR jet will also be coming and the MS thing will also be giving the same color mosaic pattern?
Good question. You know, I agree with you. What you're looking forward is, I'll show you a slide. Give me a second. Very intelligent question. What is question is, suppose we have AR with MS. So MS jet would be coming in diastole. AR jet would also be coming in diastole, right? That's what you mean by?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, but MS jet we'll evaluate in the same pattern. Look, we evaluated MS jet in this patient. So what we did, we closed down, we went from 3-chamber to 4-chamber view. So we are not interrogating aortic flow jet, aortic regurgitation jet. And aortic regurgitation jet will evaluate in what picture? In Black's window. Here is AR jet. MR and AR, remember vena contracta is the answer. 0.47, moderate AR. Here it will not hinder.
And sir, as you said, the MR vena contracta, you have to take in Black's window with 50 to 60 Nyquist limit is a
right. Same MR and AR we have to take in Black's window. Here I am taking AR in Black's window. This is parasternal long axis, RV, aorta, AR jet, LA, LV over here. So MR would be measuring over here. MR would be what? Systolic or diastolic?
MR will be systolic, sir.
Correct. And AR would be?
Diastolic.
Correct. So we'll measure both things. This is AR jet, we have measured this is diastolic. If a MR is there, we'll measure exclusively in diastolic. Let me just see whether this patient has got, no, this patient does not have a AR. MR is not there, does not look to be any significant MR is there. Very tiny MR is there. Your better question would be, suppose we have got MR and MS and AR, how would you calculate the severity of mitral stenosis? Because AR will hinder with MS jet? The answer would be go to planimetry. So we have gone to planimetry in this question. We'll spend time on planimetry. Here is planimetry of this question. Now we can see a planimetry of this subject. 1.18 centimeters. Because planimetry will not be hindered by AR jet.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, right. Anybody else? Done. So thank you very much, everybody. And hope we'll meet next Sunday. Measurement is a topic. Get your questions ready. Next Sunday we'll be live again with the views and everything and your question answers. With these few words, let me say thank you very much again and goodbye. Shabaka, take care, stay safe and stay alive for the next week's session. Bye-bye.